What's up, dagheads, Fantom freaks, all my friends, how you doing? Today we're going to be talking about Solidly, Andre Cronje, all the good stuff, OxDAO in specific, as a play for Solidly. So Solidly, as you know, Andre Cronje's new, super genius platform, and which brought over ridiculous amounts, billions of dollars over into this ecosystem. And we have so many people who are pumped about this, so many people getting into this. I just saw that Alexander Lorenzo dude, he's like, I'm putting in most of my net worth into Solidly and into plays on Solidly. So not only him, lots and lots of people are doing the same thing, and protocols are competing, they're bribing, they're fighting, they're, TLV wars. We got the, old school Fantom club who is got the biggest chunk of the NFT emissions, kind of over dominated everyone. And, the new VC money that was coming in had basically got sidelined by from being the biggest player by the Fantom natives. And there's just so much great drama and so much cool shit going on. And then right as this happened, we had the whole Sifu and Time Wonderland debacle happening. And so put a little hiccup into the mix, but not too bad. Everything looks like it's bouncing back from all that. So starting right here at the Andre Cronje Twitter, he just retweeted out Iron Bank's tweet. Iron Bank is the first integration or first fully ready to go once this thing starts. Here it is. The VAAM IB wrapped Fantom LP pool on Solidly Exchange is live. Iron Bank has used 100% of its voting power of its VE NFT to the IB wrapped Fantom gauge. Based on current vote, over 13.5% of all solid emissions will go to the FTM IB stakers when emissions start. What the heck? What does all that mean? From Iron Bank, Solid earned from protocol-owned IB and wrapped Fantom LP will be 100% distributed to VEIB holders, which is the people holding that LB. And, all that is super exciting. So what does all this mean? Here's from Firebird Finance, one of the best, probably the best aggregator to get the cheapest price for any swap over from any asset. Probably the best aggregator currently on Fantom. And they put this here. Guys, this is the big one. We integrated Solidly Exchange ahead of the emissions to make sure when you use Firebird, you will be taking advantage of the all-new juicy liquidity that is going to be brought to Fantom. Try it for yourself here at Firebird Finance. So yeah, lots going on. And what's this all about? Well, I went through a whole bunch of different Medium articles, and the best one for the whole description of the whole thing, and we will be getting to OxDAO in just a minute here. The best description of this whole thing was this article put out by Solidly, and this was put out by SolidX, which was retweeted by Solidly and Andre. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, let's hit this real quick. As Solidly emissions are less than 10 days from starting, we thought it'd be a good time to explain Solidly in a condensed and hopefully easy to understand manner. What is it? Solidly is an AMM-based Uniswap V2. It allows, which just means it's a fork of the Uniswap Exchange version 2 contract. It allows swapping between two tokens in a liquidity pool in a fully decentralized way. The first initial twist is that Solidly, unlike Uniswap V2, also supports low slippage trades when pegged with pegged assets like stablecoins. So pretty nice. You'll be able to transfer, go from one stable to another. It's always hard to find the best rate for that. You don't want to swap $100 and pay $5 for the privilege of swapping from one stable to another. You want it to be cheap, right? And quick, convenient. That is going to take care of all of that on Fantom. And then, of course, this is going to be forked on other chains. I've already seen, people bragging they're going to be the first Solidly fork on AVAX, the first Solidly fork on this exchange. So, it's people are, it's like spitting on an anthill. Everyone's running really, really, really fast, getting ready for the excitement. Users who provide the liquidity on a whitelisted Solidly pool, oh yeah, all the pools need to be whitelisted in order for them to actually receive the fees and all that. So it sounds like that's going to be a bit of a gatekeeper thing going on, but they'll be making sure that there is no like rug pull coins paired up with, BEETS or something, or paired up with some great coin, and thereby creating an exorbitant amount of risk, not just to the users but to the platform itself, because that's not good for your name when stuff like that happens. The token Solidly token exists in two forms. The main one is Solid, which is a tradable but doesn't grant you voting power or revenue. The other one is V-Solid, which is a locked state of Solid. So, when you lock something, it turns into X this, or, for heck, you got wrap staked heck. So that's what this is, a locked version. So it's basically a receipt token. The other form is VE Solid, which is a locked state of Solid. VE stands for vote escrowed, a popular new DeFi primitive, which was first introduced by Curve Finance. If you own Solid and wish to participate in the Solidly governance and receive a share of the protocol revenue, you lock your Solid in turn into VE Solid. Locks can last between 1 month and 4 years and can be extended at any time. Different lock lengths mean you receive different amounts of VE Solid. You want to lock for the whole damn time, man. This is the play. One Solid locked for 4 years. Like, when I say the play, I mean like 10x type D play. Anyway, one Solid locked for 2 years, 0.5 VE Solid. One Solid locked for 6 months, 0.125 VE Solid. So you're way better off locking up for 4 years by far. Your VE Solid balance decays linearly over time if you don't extend it. Once your lock expires, you can withdraw your Solid. Once your lock is created, you receive trading fees, protocol revenue from the gauges you voted for, a boost as well as voting power to direct Solid emissions. But more on that below. VE33, another important change from the existing VE models is the concept of VE33, where lockers also receive a share of emissions based on the circulating supply. The idea behind this change is to prevent dilution of existing early lockers. Nice. The percentage of emissions received by existing lockers is below. Got a nice little formula there. This creates some interesting game theory, as more people locking will reduce the amount of Solid given to liquidity providers in any given week. Solid lockers increase their holdings proportionately to weekly emissions. This makes the value proposal of locking very attractive, as your lock does not get diluted by new Solid emissions. Trading fees. On Solidly, all trading fees will go to users who voted for the gauge attached to the pool. Liquidity providers receive Solid, and trading fees are given to those who vote for it, thus creating a positive feedback loop where a pool generating a lot of fees will attract more voters and more Solid incentives. If the pool is not whitelisted and does not have a gauge, trading fees then go to liquidity providers. Very interesting. Anyone can deploy a gauge for pool if both tokens are whitelisted. Very cool. Emissions. Several Solidly mechanisms are borrowed from Curve Finance. The core one is the gauge system, which has been gaining attention thanks to the so-called curve wars and convex bribes. Having deposited liquidity into a pool, liquidity providers will stake LP tokens, then receive into the corresponding gauge where they begin earning Solid emissions. The concept is simple. Every week, Solid emissions will be distributed starting from 20 million per week, decaying to a rate of 2% per week. From week 167, emissions will decrease further to a total supply reaches 1 billion Solid. VE Solid holders will decide which liquidity providers receive those emissions. Nice. Having the power to dictate which pools are to receive Solid emissions is extremely valuable for protocols that wish to deepen their own on-chain liquidity, and boost their own price. It's equally important for VE holders who have an interest in directing emissions towards pools that will net the most fees for themselves, of course. Emissions are updated on a weekly basis on Thursdays at midnight UTC. Boosting, just like Curve, on top of deciding where Solid emissions should go, lockers can also boost their Solid rewards. Based on how much VE Solid a user owns, they may be able to receive up to 2.5 times more Solid rewards. Each gauge has a working balance, which can be calculated as per the formula below, right there. This is the main reason behind the success of Convex. It allows liquidity providers to earn boosted rewards without the need to maintain a 4-year-long VLOC. pretty cool. And it keeps like all the whales. It's going to bring in so much money. They're going to be bribing. They're going to be trying to kick each other out. They're going to be competing. It's going to bring in so much liquidity and money. And then, yeah, it's very, very interesting. So much game theory involved. It's just, man, this is another level. Bribes. The concept of bribes was made popular by Convex, which came into control with a large share of curve voting power. As users kept chasing high CRV rewards, protocols realized they could grow their protocol and on-chain liquidity by bribing VECRV holders to vote for their pool. On Solidly, it's possible for anyone to attach bribes onto a gauge, and those who vote for it are then able to claim them. That's really neat. An onboard bribing system. It's like, it's genius, man. Go through and collect the bribes you like the most. Solidly also introduces the concept of negative voting. This is pretty interesting, and I saw that some people really don't like this. But what I think is interesting is it's going to force more liquidity wars and force more money into these interesting things. But here we go. Solidly also introduces the concept of negative voting, which allows users to prevent emissions going to a pool. So like on Weave or whatever, which is like the main competitor against OxDAO. OxDAO's got enough power. They could probably put the kibosh on VE on the other DAO on Weave pretty substantially, since they got the major amount of power and they got like a frothing community who will probably get on board with anything that, you know, Justin Beavis asks us to get on board with. So it's pretty interesting, and that should add a whole nother game theory to where they can, like, you know, kind of squash each other. It's very interesting, and it's going to cause some serious liquidity wars. Solidly has already launched, and solid emissions are expected to begin within the 24th of February. Although Andre Cronje warned a redeployment may happen if a critical vulnerabilities are found before that date. Smart man to go ahead and put that out there ahead of time, so that way if something bad happens, it's not like, you know, you just say it was expected. Those wanting to vote on emissions for the launch will need to do so before midnight UTC on the 24th of January. You can visit the protocol here. Go vote for your stuff. And what is SolidX? SolidX is meant to be to Solidity what Convex is to Curve. Built from the ground up and tailored to harness the capabilities of Solidly, users receive boosted solid rewards without the need to maintain their own lock. SolidX is partnered with some of the best teams in DeFi, such as Curve, Multichain, Geist, Ren, Year, Yearn, VDAO, and Saddle. So very interesting. Let's stop by OxDAO really quick. As you can see, all the pools are down to nothing. Not much going on here. Expecting some new things going on. You can buy the OXD USDC bonds here. That will take you to GOM, and that's like, you know, liquidity owned by the platform. So we'll see what happens there. All very interesting stuff. So OxDAO has, you know, all of the Fantom native people. This is their move from the VDAO coming in and basically creating this Weave token and sucking up all this liquidity, bringing, you know, billions of dollars basically over to take the #1 spot to grab the largest share of the NFT, you know, to grab the largest NFT that has the largest share of the Solidly rewards, protocol, all that. So that didn't happen. These guys came and dethroned them, and we're like, nope, you're not going to move into our realm and do this. And it's very interesting what has happened. And so here's the latest Medium article from OxDAO. And you remember, this is like all the Fantom native people. So you got all the big native platform people are involved in this, and we'll see how many of them actually, you know, put their NFT over here. So let's find out what's going over here. Recap. Since our launch on the 21st of January, OxDAO successfully acquired the largest share of V NFT from Andre Cronje's new project, Solidly. Phase 1 of our strategy was clear success. Yeah, big time. OxDAO amassing 4 billion in TVL in only a matter of hours. Although the influx in TVL to OxDAO was gone as quickly as it arrived, it set the scene for what was to come. A new wave of users experiencing Fantom DeFi for the first time, and Fantom's total value remains up 63% from where it was a month ago. All thanks to Andre, right? Since the snapshot's date, we have been working behind the scenes on phase 2 of our strategy to make OxDAO the platform of choice for users of Andre's new Solidly platform. You can read more about Solidly here. Our intention from the outset was to preserve long-term value for the Fantom ecosystem, not having someone, a bunch of VCs coming over from other chains, sucking a bunch of liquidity from Fantom and doing who knows what with it. We want people who are Fantom based, who want to always point emissions to a native Fantom protocol. That's definitely something I am on board with. So with that, we are excited to announce our upcoming liquidity hub for Solidly, built for the Fantom ecosystem by top Fantom developers. What does this mean? Similar to Convex for Curve on Ethereum, OxDAO's aim is to become the yield hub for Solidly on Fantom. So you can see there will be some head-to-head competitions going on here. Partners joining OxDAO will be long-term stakeholders in the ecosystem's future. This means that users of OxDAO, including protocols partners, liquidity providers, and OXD token holders, will be able to maximize their rewards of Solid through OxDAO's simple and easy-to-use platform. Why partner with OxDAO? OxDAO is a coalition of the leading protocols on Fantom. So you're getting in bed with all the big guys. They're going to put their arms around you. Not a bad thing to do. We aim to pool our collective resources for the greater good of Fantom and are looking for partners that share our long-term commitment to the ecosystem's sustained growth and development. So if you're not Fantom based, you go to VDAO, right? Okay, to incentivize strong support from ecosystem projects at launch, we are offering a comprehensive partnership plan. Projects who deposit their V NFT with OxDAO prior to the launch will receive 1. Solidly trading fees, 2. Bribe rewards, 3. Non-dilutive OX Solid, which is fractionalized reputation of OxDAO's Solid lock. 4. Solid emissions shared from the protocol's LPs, and 5. The icing on the cake, OXD emissions. In addition, we want our launch partners to be aligned with OxDAO for our success to be your success. In order to help ensure that partners remain maximum voting power while sustaining driving cash flows, we offer the following proposal. So this is basically a big, part of this is a big sales pitch to anyone, to the top 25 protocols. Because it was the top 25 protocols that all got the NFT, right? No one lower than that got the NFT. It was supposed to be the top 20, and Andre extended that to the top 25, but, it's kind of fractionalized. So the more that you create, the less that everyone gets. Whenever partners deposit their V NFT, they automatically receive a proportional amount of OX Solid. Because of the way that Solidly's rebase mechanism works, the position will never be diluted. The OxDAO automatically converts rebased Solid into OX Solid, proportional to the partner's locked amount. On top of this, partners will also earn OXD token emissions proportional to how much of the OX Solid total supply they hold. Since VIOXD receives bribes and controls OxDAO's voting, this means that to maintain their share of OXD emissions, and in turn their governance control and bribe share, partners should 1. Continue to lock their Solid rewards for OX Solid, and 2. Lock their OXD for V1 OXD. This is mutually beneficial outcome. The partner maintains voting power, bribe revenue, and also receives protocol fee sharing, while OxDAO grows our Solid lock, further increasing voting power and bribe fee revenue for partners. And the cool thing about this is because it's all the top protocols, it's not like you're going to have one guy doing the wrong thing, right? They're all going to be pushing the boat in the same direction. And, and we got open, if not, we'll know it on the blockchain, right? By offering our launch partners and their users a direct stake in OxDAO, we can provide better incentives for long-term value creation than offered by passive partnership models. Instead of being incentivized to sell their OXD, our partners will benefit from revenue generation, providing motivation for our partners to take on an active role to support the protocol and better aligning us with the goals of Solidly itself. Another key differentiator is that the team at OxDAO maintains a 0% team allocation. No one else can say that, guaranteeing greater incentive shares for our partners. And I think the way they looked at it is like, we're already, pointing these emissions back to us. We already got these fees. We're already getting OxDAO. You're getting so much going on. There's no reason for the team to take tokens when we can just utilize this protocol, make it fair for everyone, super fair launch, and no one can ever bitch about a team taking 0% allocation. Pretty awesome. Guaranteeing greater incentive shares for our partners. Since our team is made up of developers from existing Fantom protocols, so we didn't come over from some other chain, we already have sufficient motivation to support and expand OxDAO to drive growth in the broader Fantom ecosystem. What is good for OxDAO is good for its member protocols. That's the way it should be. Line that stuff up. Don't make them compete. Finally, we want our partners to feel confident in what they are getting when they deposit their NFT with us. Thus, we will not require VNFT locks until after the core protocol has launched and partners have been given a chance to evaluate OxDAO's smart contracts for themselves. I mean, written by the best coders in on Fantom. I think they're going to be just happy with that. What is in it for OXD token holders? People like us. OXD token holders are our partners and as such should be entitled to a share of all future protocol revenues of OxDAO. Soon, OXD holders will be able to burn their OXD for OX Solid, which can be staked on OxDAO coming up. So that should be pretty great. And, the people that have to be benefit somehow, right? OX Solid stakers can then earn the following, as mentioned above, for partners, including boosted solid emissions from LPs, equating to 10% of the emissions. And this is why I think this is like the biggest play, the biggest way to get into, to get exposure to Solidly is to get with the biggest team who is not taking any allocation and has their, their morals, their ethics, their ethos all lined up for the benefit of its users. That's what we want, not for the benefit of the team and benefit for themselves. And because their, incentives or what they are getting out of the deal is lined up with us, you're basically all pulling the cart in the same direction, rowing the boat in the same direction. Here we go. Boosted solid emissions from LPs equating to 10% of the emissions. You also get bribes optimized for OxDAO to give you maximum returns. OXD emissions, which can be locked and used for on-chain governance and voting. Solidly protocol fees benefit from Solidly solid rebases. So everything that the people are going to be getting, that the protocols be getting, we're getting that same thing based on the amount of OXD that we hold, right? Furthermore, OXD holders who burn their OXD for OX Solid prior to launch will receive the same treatment as partner protocols and will be eligible for any and all bonuses. When we say that the community and OXD holders are our partners in this, we mean it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll definitely be burning before it happens and probably be gathering up as much as I can. We were at 8 cents yesterday, at 7 cents today, and I think, DCing into this is probably a no-brainer. Members of OxDAO will be participating in the Text AMA hosted by Beefy Finance, and this already happened on Friday the 11th. To clarify any questions, finally, we wouldn't be here without the immense support shown by our community and ecosystem partners. Far from just being another DAO, we've taken it upon ourselves to deliver a viable long-term play on Fantom. We're also staying true to our original motivations. 0% team allocations and fair launch are important to demonstrate our positive sum approach to building for the benefit of our ecosystem together under the OxDAO umbrella. Stay tuned for more details relating to our launch partners over the coming days. So pretty cool. So like I said, this, in my opinion, is the number one solidly play. I don't think there's anything wrong with going the, SolidX, the VDAO, all that route, the VC money, the people coming in from the outside. They did, come in and try to unseat a bunch of stuff and ended up being unseated, but they are the number two. They do have the second largest amount of this, and because of the emissions, the second largest NFT, that gives them the second largest amount of voting power. But I think a lot more people will be locking their NFTs up with OxDAO, and no one is going to be able to compete with this, guys, in my estimation. And because there is that whole thing where they can rally together and stop emissions, like vote to stop emissions to the their main competition or whatever it is. Yeah, you don't want to get on these guys' bad side. And I think that, because they're true at heart, I think this is just the place to be. And, you know, they got the best devs and all that good stuff. So in my opinion, OxDAO is the #1 solidly play. And we'll see what happens. So there's all that, guys. There's a whole bunch going on. I just wanted to bring this all to you. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. I got a whole bunch more coming your way, a whole bunch of Fantom stuff. But for now, we're just gonna leave it at solidly. Solidly is gonna change all sorts of stuff, and it's gonna be, you know, forks brought onto other chains, but you know, same thing. It's still not Andre's project. This is Andre's project, and yeah, we're at the birth of something amazing and a big change in the DeFi world. And you know, when big waves get made like that, you decide where you need to be. Anyway, catch you guys on the next one, and